Time Management fans. My name is Glenn Watt, Senior Editor of Time Management Magazine. Craig Jarrow joins us for issue 4 of Time Management Magazine. Craig Jarrow is the author of the book 31 Days, 31 Ways. He's the founder of TimeManagementNinja.com. Also, he has been named the third most influential person in productivity today by Biz 3.0. Welcome to Time Management Magazine, Craig Jarrow.
Thank you, Glenn. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for accepting the offer to be on the magazine. Thank you. I guess if you want to start off with our first question, I'm always interested in how people come up with their ideas for different time management techniques or tools. So I guess the first starting point, our first question I'd like to ask you is, how did you come up with the idea for the Time Management Ninja blog?
Okay, that's a great question. The truth of it is that I've always been kind of a time management geek. I mean, all the way back, and it's always been my passion, kind of all the way back to grade school. When I was young, I was actually a fan of the original, Franklin Quest day planners and all that. And then kind of throughout my career, I've always been interested in time management, always been trying different techniques and tools as they've evolved over the years. And at some point, I wanted to write a book. I decided I wanted to write a book on time management. And a couple years ago, I partook in the annual, if you've ever heard of it, the NaNoWriMo, which is the National Novel Writing Month. And I attempted to write a book on time management. And when I finished that contest, I had written over 250 pages on time management, different themes, things like that. But ultimately, I decided that it wasn't a book at that time, and I decided to break it up and start making a blog. So the Time Management Ninja theme kind of came along, and my book became my blog, and I day by day started talking about different topics that came to mind, and that's how the blog evolved. The actual Time Management Ninja name actually came from my son, who at the time was a little ninja jumping off the furniture and things like that, and I think that is how the name came about at one point.
That's very cool. It's interesting how kids can influence your life. I know that's kind of where I got started for the magazine as well, was actually with my son and my daughter. I was that's kind of how mine got started too.
Great.
So you mentioned the book, or that's it that you started with, but that's not the most recent book that you've written, because I know you've authored the book 31 Ways in 31 Days.
Yes. It's called 31 Days, 31 Ways, Daily Tips for Time Management Mastery is kind of the subtitle there. And really what it is, Glenn, is it's a 31-day kind of e-course. It's an e-book for people to kind of have bite-sized lessons. So I broke it down into 31 days, and each day has a different time management topic, a story for the day, and a lesson. And then each day has an exercise and a kind of a follow-up tip. So not only you get to learn a different lesson each day, but you get to put it into practice through a little exercise. It's laid out as kind of, you can do it in 31 days, or you can do it at your own pace if you want to do one every couple days until you master each one. But that's how it's broken out, and I've gotten some great feedback over the last year on it. People seem to really like it, and again, the little bite-sized modules make it very easy read and digestible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool. So what do you think might be some of the challenges that someone starting out with time management or starting out with your book, The 31 Ways in 31 Days, what do you think the challenges they might write into would be?
The challenges I typically hear from people, you'll hear those time management cliches. I'm sure you hear them as well, Glenn. I don't have enough time, or I have too much to do. And typically what I think I find with people who are reading the book for the first time is they feel like they're overwhelmed already. So how are they going to have more time to put things into action? And I try in the book the first couple chapters there are definitely about getting your time management under control, defining your time management system is one of I think maybe the first chapter in the book, because until you have that system in place, it's going to be hard to kind of put any discipline around it. And then a lot of discussion there around that overwhelming feeling that some of us feel, and I encourage the readers to make an obligation list, so they can make a list of everything that is on their responsibility plate then and what they need to get to. So it kind of early on helps people, get their system under control and kind of get a view on what their large obligation list may be. I think that's usually the first obstacle that people face when they're trying to get their time management on track is, initially getting under control with what's on top of them now.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. That sounds like some really solid advice about the obligation list. I know that's definitely something that I know I struggle with. So that's really that's fantastic. That's a great idea.
Well, I find it interesting because sometimes, you think you have so much to do, but to quantify it and you start simple, just make that list, write down everything you can think of that you have to do in a week, from your work to your kids, to your family, to your hobbies, to your, community, whatever you do. And then, assign a value to it. Is that an hour you spend, 2 hours? I go to the gym for 3 hours a week. I go to church or whatever I may do. And then if you start adding that up and then you add in sleep there and you see how many hours you may have left, you become a realist real quick as to whether you do have time or you don't have time. And a lot of times, early on people want to pare back that list, and free up some more time in their day or week.
Yeah, very cool. What do you think the biggest lessons you've learned since creating your blog and the book about time management? What do you think those lessons might be?
I think the biggest lessons I've learned in running the Time Management Ninja website are about, I would say there's two things really. One is running multiple projects at the same time. As I've started the blog, I had a day job. So, it's been a challenge running both. So you learn a lot about having many projects up in the air at the same time. But I would say that the other big thing that I've learned in running the blog, running the website, is the necessity for learning new skills. And, we all want to be lifelong learners. We all want to be always adding to our toolkit, to our toolbox, with new skills and new abilities. And that's something that I had to rapidly learn as I started that website. I'm sure you have done as well when you started your iPad magazine. A lot of new skills you had to pick up. So for me, it was, blogging, the social media, the blog software, a lot of the tools I've had to implement online. Again, a lot of rapid learning that had to take place to kind of launch that brand and make it a successful site as I have.
Very cool. What would you say is your favorite tool that you use to implement your time management strategies?
My favorite time management tool. Well, I use a lot of them, and it's interesting because I advocate, one tool for each purpose you may have in your life, whether it's calendar or tasks or whatever. But I get to test a lot of tools. I get to try a lot of different software, so I am jumping from tool to tool sometimes as I do that. But my favorite time management tool at the moment, I use Things as my task list. I love it. I've used it on and off, but I've really come back to it recently. They have a great software app that does all my project, all my tasks organized. And the best part is it keeps it synchronized across all my platforms. That's kind of one of my big themes recently is, having one tool, but then also having it across, no matter where I am, whether I'm sitting at my home computer or whether I'm working on my iPad or I'm working on my phone, I have all my information with me and synchronized. I don't even have to think about it. So that's my favorite tool at the moment is Things by Culture Code. I highly recommend it. A worthy alternative, Things is a little can be a little pricey if you're getting on all your platforms. I do recommend Wunderlist as well. And they just came out with a great new version, Wunderlist 2.0. It has a lot of new features, and that is a free app. So that's another great alternative. But for me, tasks are always number one for me. If you don't know what you have to do, it's kind of hard to take that next action.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some great apps, by the way. I know. I think we've had a couple. I think we've had them listed in a number of our different. In back issues, we've actually had a number of different app lists, and I think that they've come out. I think Things is one of the top apps for productivity. So I've definitely looked at them myself. It's really good. My next question is, what should be the biggest takeaway for someone seeing this interview? What would you like them to walk away with?
If I could give one takeaway on time management from this interview, my big theme is always simplicity. I always favor the simple, effective solution over the complex solution, and I think that often people try to make their time management too complicated, too many tools, too complex of a system, and one of the lines I've used before is that if your time management system requires a flow chart, maybe a little bit too complex. I mean, at least to use in your daily life every day. So I really do favor those tools, and again, the ones I just mentioned are good examples of that, where you can keep your time management very simple. And there's definitely uh, some great benefits to workflows and being disciplined about those. But again, I really advocate the life-oriented time management, those simple strategies, those life hacks that can help you get your stuff done on a day-to-day basis.
What is most challenging for you when using time management techniques? What do you find the most challenging?
I think what I find most challenging is kind of what we all experience, which is, you lay out the best of plans, you prepare for those plans, and then of course, life happens, right? So, I face the same challenges that you face and we all face, which is those day-to-day interruptions, those unexpected events that happen. And again, time management is all about, how you react to those daily challenges, how you respond to the interruptions and how you deal with them. And so I face those same challenges, and I may have the best laid plan during the day, and an emergency happens, and next thing you know, you're reacting instead of going through your plan. So I would say that, I'm like everyone else, and I face that same daily challenge.
Yeah, I definitely know that challenge as well. It can be very how can I, chasing your tail. That's what it feels like sometimes. When you're
Yeah.
reacting, you're in that moment, you're reacting instead of following through on your plan. I'm there too. Um, my next question, what is your passion outside of time management? What does Craig Jarrow do as a passion outside of the blog? And
Outside of the blog, I would say that my passion is definitely, I have a couple passions, but my number one passion, of course, is my family. And to me, that's what time management is kind of about, which is, managing your time so you can use it in ways that you want to use it, so you can spend it on what you want to spend it on. And a lot of times I talk about defending your time, and keeping people from stealing it or taking it. We seem to react in a big way if people try to steal our money, but we let people steal our time all day long, it seems. So defending your time so you can do the things you want. And my passion is, my kids. I have a son, I have a newborn daughter, and my wife. I try to spend as much time with them as I can. Personally, my other passion is I do like to work out and exercise. I love going to the gym, and that's one of my biggest habits outside of time management.
oh, very good. I can truly appreciate that as well, because those are definitely some of my passions as well, outside of juggling all the balls that I have to. Um, who is your biggest inspiration or hero?
My biggest hero or inspiration, in life or in time management, or both.
It could be in either, or if you've got one, an inspiration in time management, that'd be great.
I'd like, I'm going to answer it that way because there's so many people in time management. But I mean, I've grown up as a big fan and as a big time management geek, as I like to say, over the years. My original inspiration was actually Hiram Smith, who was the original, I believe, founder and president of Franklin Quest, which was even before they became Franklin Covey and joined the Covey family there. But Franklin Day Planners, that's what I grew up on. I was always had my Franklin Day Planner in my hand, and Hiram Smith read his book, and way back when I listened to his four-part audio series probably about 100 times when I was younger, and really changed my perspective on time management and making choices in life. So that's who I will say.
Oh, very, very cool. A little known secret, I have apps and software, but I also have a Franklin Covey planner. It's
Yes.
sitting in the other room. So I still have one. I
Yes.
also yeah, grew up on the well, at that time when I started, it was Franklin Covey by that point, but I
Yes.
got my first.
And there's always that great paper versus technology debate. I think I wrote a post just recently called Five Ways That Paper Beats Your Tech or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some things that paper still definitely beats the iPad for.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Craig. It's been a it's been a pleasure having you. I also just before I say goodbye, I just thought of something. You are running a. I'm not sure if this is going to come out in the magazine in time, but you are running Kickstart the Year program. I don't know if you wanted to mention that for a
Yeah.
moment.
Thanks for bringing that up, Glenn. Yes, actually, let's mention that for just a minute. Kickstart the Year is an initiative that I've started with Mike Vardy of productivityist.com. And Mike and I, what we did was we brought together 10 great experts from different domains, from fitness to goals to finance to all kinds of different goals. And it's intended to be a way to kickstart your year, get your resolutions, and get your goals off to the right start. And what we've done is we've brought together a bundle of 10 e-products. And if you go to kickstarttheyear.com, you can check that out. We've got some great people there, from Chris Brogan to Jeannie Dietrich, Jeff Goins. So again, whether your goal for 2013 is to write your book or get in shape or get your finances on track, definitely a great program to check out. Definitely, if you're reading this, check it out soon. It's a limited promotion that runs through January 9th. So please check that out. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. No problem. Thank you very much. It sounds like it'd be a very interesting program. I'll definitely I'll be checking it out myself.
Thank you.
So I'd like to thank you for being in Time Management Magazine and being our feature interview this month. Thank you very much, Craig. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you inviting me.
Anytime. So that'll be it for this interview in this issue of Time Management Magazine. Thank you very much.